My influencer coworker lied about his whole career, and it fell apart gloriously. Years ago, I was hired to a marketing team for a medium-sized company. I was about 29 years old, having been in corporate marketing for 4 or so years. I was still newish, but I knew enough from my experience in marketing. I was quickly introduced to the social media manager of the company. We'll call him Lewis. Lewis and I would be working very closely together. Now, Lewis was an interesting case. He had never worked in marketing before, but was apparently a fairly popular social media influencer, which landed him the job, or so I was told. It quickly became apparent that not only did Lewis not really know esht about marketing, but he also didn't seem to be doing anything ever. I was very often on the same calls, meetings that Lewis was supposed to be on, but he never was. Instead, the social media contracting company we had hired was, which seemed odd. Throughout our time together, Lewis very often bragged about his out-of-work business dealings as a social media influencer, partying with celebs, making business dealings, etc., and he often had pictures to back it up. Our manager seemed enthralled with Lewis, always asking for his latest stories, and even asking to get in on some of his investments. It came crashing down one Monday morning. Our manager entered the office and told us to tell Lewis to come see him the moment he was in. Lewis, as usual, was a few hours late and was immediately fired. Our manager called us in to tell us, and we all sighed in relief. He started asking why we never said anything, and we explained that he always seemed so impressed with Lewis that we were afraid to. Apparently that previous weekend, Lewis and our manager met with a potential business partner, and Lewis started spouting some very unusual stories, like how our corporation bought out his social media influencing company. They didn't. Our manager was very confused and not happy with the situation. He was actually downright embarrassed and apologized to the other person attending. So he started digging, and it wasn't hard to figure out that Lewis has been lying the entire time, as he was very well known amongst business people in the area. He wasn't an influencer. He didn't have any business contracts. Those pictures with celebs, Lewis crashed parties and would snap a selfie before being escorted out. He was banned from many offices because he kept trying to sneak into executives' offices. One local executive even had a restraining order against Lewis. Lewis also stole his work-provided laptop and returned it weeks later after being threatened with legal action. Totally wiped clean. He had not done a drop of work in these roughly 6 months at the company. Instead, he had pawned his entire workload off on the aforementioned contractor, who just assumed that was what was supposed to be happening. Lewis got on a plane the afternoon after he was fired and never returned to the state.